Welcome back. The 2020 census is coming. The Census Bureau is part of the U.S. Department of Commerce and is overseen by the Economics and Statistics Administration, ESA. They provide economic analysis of current facts and figures about America's people, places, and economy. The Census Bureau operates under Title 13 and Title 26 of the U.S. Code. The U.S. Census counts each resident of the country and, of course, the county where they live on April 1st, every 10 years ending in 0. The Constitution mandates the count to determine how to assign the correct number of state representatives in the House. The U.S. Census collects data using the American Community Survey, also known as ACS, and interacts with residents via internet, mail, telephone calls, and personal visits. First, they send a letter to you to let you know that your address has been selected for the ACS. The American Community Survey information is mailed to addresses rather than individuals throughout the country. Individual names are not noted on the address label to protect the confidentiality of the households that are chosen to participate. The Census Bureau is so adamant about confidentiality. Genealogical information collected by the Census of Population and Housing on individuals does not become available to the public until after a 72-year period. Next, most responders receive instructions to complete the ACS online. The Census Bureau receives your responses once you have submitted your completed American Community Survey online. Therefore, mailing back your questionnaire is not required and saves mailing cost. If the survey is not completed, they will send you a replacement questionnaire in about 2 weeks. If the Census Bureau still does not receive a completed survey, they may attempt to call you. You may also receive a telephone call if you completed the survey and clarification is needed on the information you provided. If they cannot reach you by phone, they may send a census interviewer to your address to complete the interview in person. If you don't respond, you can expect the Census Bureau to follow up in person to collect the information they need. Interviewers may visit you or attempt to call you after normal business hours when it's most likely you will be home. You can also incur penalties of up to $5,000 for not reporting or answering the questionnaire according to census law under U.S. Code Section 224. You can also be hit with a penalty of $10,000 for purposely providing false information. If someone has contacted you about the American Community Survey and you would like to verify that the visit or phone call you received was legitimate, you may call your Census Regional Office. You can find contact information for your Census Regional Office at census.gov/regions. Sonny Perdue visited King George, and I'm not talking about the chicken guy. Members of the Eastern Virginia Cattlemen's Association, or EVCA, recently entertained the top farm official since January 2017. The visit from U.S. Secretary of Agriculture George Irvin Sonny Perdue III, not the chicken guy, had nothing to do with money, power, or votes. This is a case of it's not what you know, but who you know. One of EVCA's officers, Dr. John Hale, a semi-retired veterinarian in King William County, went to veterinarian school with the Secretary of Agriculture. The promise of a reunion with his classmate was enough to bring Perdue to the Fredericksburg area. While Perdue has been to Fredericksburg, Saturday marked his first visit to King George County and the Northern Neck. Perdue, accompanied by a plethora of assistants and Secret Service agents, visited King George County Saturday afternoon. The EVCA set up a large tent on the property of Stuart and Louis Ashton, whose family has owned land on the Potomac River since the mid-1600s. Perdue got a chance to spend time with 7 of the 8 Virginians who graduated with him from the University of Georgia College of Veterinary Medicine in 1971. They then entertained federal, state, and local farm officials for a dinner of beef brisket, as to be expected of the Cattlemen's Association. Perdue grew patriotic as he surveyed the riverfront property on the shores where George Washington reportedly hunted. The Northern Neck reminded him of central Georgia, where his family raised crops and he learned about the hard work required of dairy farmers. Perdue served several years of private practice as a vet, worked in agribusiness, and then was elected as a state senator and 2 terms as a Georgia governor. Perdue was introduced to the crowd as an American farmer's best friend and advocate in Washington, D.C. Saturday's attendance included Niven El-Ghorari, Director of Virginia's Farm Service Agency, Mark Slupek, Deputy Administrator of the Office of Trade Programs at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Virginia Farm Bureau President Wayne Pryor, Bettina Ring, Virginia's Secretary of Agriculture and Forestry, and representatives from at least 9 county farm bureaus. Mr. Perdue was presented with a book about the state's farming history and spoke for about 10 minutes, referencing challenges in farming, from finding local markets to international ones. He knows the Eastern Virginia Cattlemen's Association is lobbying the Virginia Farm Bureau to open a livestock market at Meadow Event Park in Doswell, and said the federal government can help groups develop these types of ideas. Perdue praised farmers in the audience and said meeting those who raise animals and work the soil in all 50 states is what he likes most about the job. In his words, accents may be a little different, the cropping practices might be a little different, but the people are much the same in agriculture. Just salt-of-the-earth people with hard work ethic, values, faith in family, and the land. Those in attendance feel likewise. Perdue was described as a really nice, down-to-earth guy that looks out for farmers. By the crowd's reaction, Perdue has a very high approval rate. There's good news for teachers. On July 1st, 2018, the Virginia Administrative Code was amended for teachers of middle and high school students. While the state does not define the amount, classroom teachers must be compensated if they teach more than 150 students or 25 class periods per week. Although it was after the budget was set for the 2018-2019 school year, staff began calculating the average number of students taught weekly by secondary teachers through May 2019. Teachers should expect the stipend in their August 1st paycheck. If the classroom teacher taught 150 to 169 students, they will receive $1,000. If they taught 170 to 189 students, they will receive $1,500. An average of more than 190 students grants a $2,000 stipend. PE and music teachers have a much larger feat. If they taught 200 to 219 students, they will receive $1,000. 220 to 239 students equals $1,500. And more than 240 students will grant the PE or music teacher $2,000. Compensation for the 2019-2020 school year and beyond have not yet been calculated. While a bonus is nice, educators feel duped again, in that it's a lot cheaper to hand out a stipend than to have an appropriate number of teachers. 39 extra students, enough bodies to fill a new classroom, receives a $1,500 bandage rather than fully staffing the school. Others want to see proof because their roster was a greater number and at a discrepancy with the average attendance counts. Regardless of absences, teachers are still responsible for instruction, passing out makeup work, and grading. Last year's retirees are waiting to find out if they will be given the stipend just like their currently employed colleagues. Well, it's time to hear from Kara about what Mother Nature has for us. Kara, what's the word?
Hi, I'm Colucci with CVTV Weekend Weather, and here's our update for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I will tell you, I hope you enjoyed last weekend, because this weekend might be a little bit of a wet one. On Friday, we're looking at highs in the low 80s, right around 82, and scattered thunderstorms throughout the evening and late in the afternoon. So make sure you take that umbrella with you on Friday. Saturday, unfortunately, much of the same. We're in highs right around the mid-80s with scattered thunderstorms once again. Make sure you've got that umbrella handy. Sunday, we should be clearing out a little bit. Partly cloudy for majority of the day. And we're looking at highs in the mid to upper 80s, right around 89, 88, 89 degrees. Hope you have a lovely weekend. I'm Colucci with CVTV Weekend Weather. Make it a great week.